Absolutely. All right, moving on. We got our fourth team, Michigan State. Michigan State's going to be one of the most improved teams in the Big 12, Big 10, we believe. They were 4-8 year ago. Obviously, had a crazy season with Mel Tucker and everything that went on there. Fresh start for Jonathan Smith and staff there. Obviously, he leaves Corvallis, where he had a ton of success there, building up that program to be perennial contenders last couple of years in the Pac-12. He comes in and he's got, by all means, I believe, a very workable schedule. Right out of conference wise, 3 games you should probably win. Right, your toughest one probably gonna be at Boston College, but hey, they're working on a new coach as well, and Bill O'Brien. And then in conference, I like how it shakes up for them. A lot of your tough games are at home, or more so like controversial close games are going to be at home, right? With Iowa, Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers, teams like that, and then obviously at Michigan, at Oregon, and Ohio State at home. Those are going to be tough. You're probably going to be double-digit dogs in those games. If you win them, that's gravy. If not, you can win other games and still have a really improved season from a year ago. What say you?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. My question marks are obviously like, can this offense improve? Like it is. I don't think it can be overstated, like how terrible this offense was last year. You scored 13 points a game. Now, granted,
Yeah.
the Big Ten was probably the best defensive conference in the country. I think I don't think a ton of people could argue against that. And they did play some really good teams. They obviously played in the Big Ten East, which doesn't exist anymore, but it was Penn State, it was Ohio State, it was Michigan, right? Already. Solid set of defenses you had to play right there. But yeah, is Aiden Childs going to be a dude? What can these wide receivers do? Like, is Nick Marsh as a freshman? Is he going to come in and have to play a big role in this receiver room?
He might, but I think they're high on guys from a year ago, Antonio Gates Jr., Jaron Glover, guys going into their third year. Maybe don't have a ton of reps offensively, but are getting there. And also, I have to believe that Michigan State and Jonathan Smith are going to be teams that are active in that spring portal. You get a chance to see how your team looks in the spring ball. And obviously, this is all projection, but you have to feel like they're going to see some holes and some players are going to enter the portal, or maybe, whatever happens there, and you can get them over to East Lansing.
Absolutely. And you do bring over pretty incredible offensive line coach.
Which
And
to yeah.
so are we going to go back to the Le'Veon Bell days? Not necessarily that Michigan State was pretty balanced when they had Le'Veon Bell, right? They were pretty balanced offense. But I'm saying, like, are you going to have are you going to feature some running backs? Are you going to be running the ball a lot more? Are you going to rely heavily on play action to let Aiden Childs kind of sit back there and do well? I imagine that Jonathan Smith isn't changing much up from his offensive scheme in Oregon State, which heavily relied on the run as it was. Um, yeah, I will see, man. We'll see. 5.5. Certainly, Vegas thinks that they'll improve by at least a win. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I do agree with you that the schedule is manageable, though, for sure.
Yeah, and like you mentioned that O-line coach coming in. To me, that's a massive deal because for many years now at Michigan State, that has been a problem, offensive line wise. And part of the reasons that they struggled last year, yes, it was quarterback issues and all that stuff, wide receivers. Obviously, you lose Keon Coleman in spring ball, and obviously that changes how your offense is going to be for sure. But you had a couple of those guys go in the portal and then obviously come back. And then you bring in a couple guys in the transfer portal, and I do believe they're at least going to get a little bit better. And obviously, it helps having a mobile guy back there like Aiden Childs, and I think a little bit more competent staff offensively that can, just hide or disguise some of their liabilities offensively and play to their strengths more. Obviously, are they going to be scoring 40 points a game? Probably not. But is it crazy to say that they can score 10 to 15, 20 more points than they did just a year ago? I don't, I think that's a lot, but I do think that's what you're going to get with this new staff and the way they're doing things a lot differently than Mel Tucker did. Plus, Aiden Childs is so explosive, just so awesome to watch. That was obviously a massive get for Smith the first time he landed him, and then obviously the second time to get him come to follow him to East Lansing.